You're doing the minutes?
Yes. We are live on YouTube.
Thank you, Christy. Hello, everyone. This is our regular meeting of council. We're going to be live streamed again tonight electronically. This is Tuesday, October the 5th, and we're going to open our meeting. And the first motion I have on the agenda is moved by Jeff Carroll and seconded by Karen Jennings, that council agree to move. There's no items, are there, to move? Okay, so we'll just eliminate that one then. Our next motion is moved by Karen Jennings and seconded by Ian Straight, that the regular meeting of council agenda dated October the 5th, 2021 be approved as circulated. All in favor? Okay, and that's carried. Thank you. And the next thing on our agenda is to mention to all of council that if you have any disclosure of interest, you can declare it now or any time during the meeting when it comes up. I'm also next going to do a moment of silence, and I just want to mention a couple of things because I think it was at our last meeting, maybe one of the questions that was asked at the beginning or at the end of the meeting was, why do we do a moment of silence? And if I could just mention that it was actually myself who suggested in the council of the day, 2 or 3 councils ago, all agreed that we would have this. And it really was not discussed, fully why we did it, but just a couple of ideas that I would give you that why I thought it was nice to do. And it's a way to reflect on someone that you may know. It could be a family member, it could be a friend who may be ill, could be that. It could be just thinking generally about our community. It could be thinking about what's on the agenda. Or it could be thinking maybe about any issues of the day. And we all know that there's a lot of big issues right now. And obviously one of them is COVID. So it could be for several reasons, but I thought it was just nice for everybody to start the meeting off by just kind of spending a moment of silence. And so with that, I'll ask if we could do that now, please, everybody. Thanks. Thanks, everyone. And next we have a motion moved by Ian Straight and seconded by Klaus Vandermeer that the minutes of the regular meeting of council September the 21st, 2021 be approved as circulated. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Is there any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, then we're going to move on. Tonight we have one delegation, and I believe we have Ben LaHaye on the screen soon in a minute. And Ben, welcome to our meeting. And Ben's going to be talking about the community fiber and the installation of fiber along the Pinery Road. So welcome to you, Ben, and I'm going to pass the screen over to you. And
Sorry.
Christy, if you can help us there then, Christy, please, yeah.
I'm trying to let him in, but either I don't know if he's not there or not, but it's not letting me let him in.
Okay, so what we'll do then,
Hang on.
we'll go on. We'll just go on with the agenda.
Okay.
And if you can let me know then when you do get him on.
Okay.
And then we'll just deal with that delegation after the one item that we're dealing with. Is that okay? All right. So we're going to go on then. The first report is going to be yours, Joanna, and that's for the fall for Merrickville. So I'll pass this on to you, Joanna, please. Ben's not with us yet.
He's joining.
Is he? Oh, there he is. So thanks, Joanna. I'll come back to you then, okay?
Yeah.
So welcome, Ben. I was just saying a few words before you came on. I'm not sure whether you heard or not, but I was letting everyone know that you'll be talking to us about installation of fiber along Heinry Road. So I just want to welcome you to the to Montague and to do this presentation for us. And I'm going to pass the screen over to you then.
All right, thank you. I don't know that it's easy for me to share my slides from here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly. And I'm not sure, Christy, are we able to share these slides? Christy says we can.
Okay, then I can just.
I have selected share screen, so you can share your screen with us.
Yeah, it doesn't work on my computer.
Oh, okay.
We
Do you want
need
me to
fiber.
bring it up?
Yeah,
do it?
if you could share it, then I can go and just
Okay.
tell you when to go on to the next page.
Give me 1 second.
Are you able to see them or?
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull it up. I just have 2 screens here. Give me 1 second. I just need to bring it.
There
So
we go.
yeah, okay.
Can we see the screen?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Thanks, Christy.
Okay, so next slide, please. So my name is Ben LaHaze. I'm the founder of Community Fiber Company. Company was founded back in 2013. Its origins back in 2005 when I moved back to the Lanark Highlands area after living in Toronto for a number of years. I sort of had the same problem everybody else has with connectivity. I've worked remotely as a software developer for a large part of my career, and having decent internet at home has been vital to being able to work remotely. Community Fiber has its mission is to address the rural broadband gaps that we have using fiber. So we have about 85 kilometers of network coverage right now. It's a good chunk out in Lanark Highlands around Patterson Lake and part of Dalhousie Lake. The bigger part of our customers are around the Ashton area, around along Fluellen, Dwyer Hill, Fernbank. We have coverage out on Kidd Road. What else? Parts of Beckwith 9th Line and all that sort of area back in there. And right now we have, there are sort of 3 parts to our network. The one that's served out in the Ashton area from our POP on Dwyer Hill. We have another pocket of about 52 customers over on John Asselford and Marchurst, where a subdivision that had been having trouble getting any service in contracted us to go on and put in service for residents there. And then our other part of the network out here in Lanark Highlands, McDonald's Corners, and a couple other pockets on Crampton Road out in Innisfil, and a few customers over on Wolf Grove Road near Elmont. Next slide, please. So, oh yes, yeah, we have more than 90 kilometers of fiber coverage. Most of the network uses a technology called passive optical networking, where one fiber can service a number of homes. It's currently providing speeds of up to 1 gigabit or 1,000 megabits. And it's all fiber, so it is scalable. Higher speeds in the future will only require swapping out the electronics at the end. Fiber connections we have from Dwyer Hill and Marchurst go back to a data center over in 436 Hazeldean. And because we have a fully fiber network, all of our packages are unlimited usage, so people don't have to worry about overages in their monthly fees. Next slide, please. So right now we have a project that I'm not entirely able to say who is helping fund yet, because we don't have that approval, that is enabling us to build some expansion out around the Prospect area in Beckwith. And part of that includes a connection and a new POP that will be over on McLaughlin Road, where the Ottawa or the rail trail intersects with McLaughlin. And so as a result of that work, we will have fiber coming down Beckwith Boundary Road, as well as the fiber going into McLaughlin. And I would like to go and add on a portion in Montague along Pinery that has sort of two benefits. One is that we would be able to serve the approximately 83 homes that are along Pinery Road. And the other benefit is that it would allow us to add another redundant path between the Beckwith Boundary Road and the McLaughlin POP. So the map that's on the right-hand side there has sort of three segments to it. Two of them are red, which would be aerial builds on existing telephone poles. And then there's the section in between where there's no pole line along Pinery. That's around 1.82 kilometers. I don't know the exact number there. Where we would like to go and bury a fiber optic cable along Pinery Road to go and connect those two segments together. Next slide, please. Benefits is that the 83 homes on Pinery will gain full fiber to the home services. So they'll be able to get speeds the same as elsewhere in the Ashton network with gigabit. It will no longer be underserved. So I know some homes can get a little bit of DSL on the side of Pinery that's closer to Highway 15, but the majority of it, there's no fiber out there, and folks have to be on either wireless or satellite. One of the benefits of fiber deployments, there have been a number of studies that have reported increased value for home sales in the neighborhood of anywhere to $5,000 to $6,000 from some of the studies that have been made. And increasingly what we've found in a lot of the areas around here is people are having decent high-speed internet becomes a requirement for home sales to go through. So we regularly get calls from potential home buyers to check in and make sure that service is actually available in Beckwith and other parts of the network. Yes, aerial coverage for most of Pinery Road is going to be cost effective. So part of the project that we're doing in the Prospect area and McLaughlin is to demonstrate a particular way of construction that lets us go and roll out fiber in a bit of a faster, lower cost sort of method. And part of the way that this form of construction works is that we have redundant paths. So each home that's on the network gains the ability to get service from either sort of east or west, as it's referred to in networks. And this allows us to use a particular construction style that is more cost effective and faster. Next slide, please. So our request from Montague Township is we would like to have municipal consent in order to install the buried section along Pinery Road. I understand from talking to staff that it will be necessary to go and relocate the cable when that part of Pinery Road is widened next year. I'm entirely okay with that because part of the benefit of that network construction is that even if that cable gets cut or severed, it doesn't matter. The customers will be able to remain online even if construction goes and damages the cable. The other part is we will be using a fairly low-cost network in the short term on that segment, just because of the construction that will be happening next year. And as part of that, we're willing to waive all liability for damage to the cable from normal operations like grading of the road or snow removal. And the only sort of ask that we have is we need to move a little bit quickly in order to get it done before the ground goes and freezes in the coming months. Next slide.
Well, thank you, Ben. I'm going to, we will be having a discussion obviously later about this. And as we're just receiving this delegation for information for tonight, but I'm certainly going to open it up if council has any questions for you now. Ian first.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Ben, thanks a lot for bringing us to the township. It's actually very interesting that it's only $400 per kilometer.
It's $400 for the cable, and labor is probably going to be a few $1,000s on our part. For
per kilometer or for the whole thing?
It'll be a lot more for the whole thing.
Okay, so what? I guess my question is to you: what's the cost of installation, including labor, per kilometer of road?
So the
roughly.
There are some parts that are undetermined yet. Construction for us to go and put in the cable tends to run about $1,500 a kilometer for aerial. Buried tends to be double that. And then the permitting and process and dealing with Hydro One and Bell is where there's a bunch of fuzziness to the process because the poles have to be reviewed for safety issues, especially in issues like suspect insulators and rotten poles. And we don't sort of get a hard answer on that until we're a little bit further along in the permitting process. I've driven that section and had the crew go and review most of the poles in the area. And we found so far of about the 600 poles that we've reviewed for the bigger project that this would be part of, we've found about 20 poles that we need to replace. So we're expecting to spend upwards of about $60,000 on pole replacement for the overall project that this would be part of.
Yes, Ian.
Yeah, so if you do the burial, then you don't have to do the pole inspection, right? You don't have to get permission. Is that how that works or no?
In this case, we're just doing the buried section on the part of Pinery Road that doesn't have any poles on it. If it would be possible for us to try providing service with buried, but given sort of the time constraints involved, I don't think we can get that done before the winter comes. We had a few issues with the government funding that we're getting for this. It started a bit later in the year than we had hoped for, and there's been a lot of challenges this year with just getting a hold of materials to do the construction with just about everything from electronics to fiber to whatever. Lead times are now out in 3-4 months for a lot of cases for the supplies. So we're if we had more time, I would like to try burying more cable along Pinery, but I think just the section between the poles is a good start, and it will give us a lot of experience with sort of the conditions in that part of Montague Township that we can then go on and look at doing more next year.
Yeah, I think that was more what I was maybe hitting towards or trying to get towards was, I understand you have a timeline for this year, but next year and the year after, expansion through the township is possible. Like we want to go down Rosedale Road North, right down south. Is that
exactly?
That's a doable thing.
That is possible, and there's also part of what's coming in the next few months is there's also the province has their AHSIP program for which they are doing intake over the next 3-4 months, and that we will be bidding on parts of the area for sure.
So thanks there, Ben and Ian, for that. And I'm going to go to Claus. I think Claus has a question.
Yeah, thanks, Reeve. Thanks for the presentation, Ben. Very interesting. Do you have to pay Hydro and Bell to use their poles?
Yes, we do. Those rates are regulated.
Okay. So all this costs and so forth, what's the cost to the homeowners to have this service brought in?
Our services range in price from $55 a month up to $109.95 a month for service. So there's a variety of price points there and different speeds that people can choose from.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff?
Yeah, thanks, Reeve. Ben, first of all, I have contacts off of John Asford, that project you did. And I mean, as my what I've heard anyways from those is that the service has been a major plus and a major great thing for that neighborhood. They were definitely struggling there, and I know when they contracted you, they're definitely a lot happier out there from what I hear. So I mean, I think that goes to show that obviously that the product you're bringing is definitely has some legitimacy behind it, which I think is fantastic for our township. But one of the things I know about that particular project is that I guess you kind of alluded to it, that it was a bit of a contract maybe on the side, because those homeowners paid extra to make sure that was ran in there. And I'm curious, is that part of this running of the line too as well for Pinery, where there'll be an upfront cost at all to as part of the installation, or is this kind of a separate sort of situation altogether?
So the pricing we've been using in the Ashton area, and we'll probably be using for this project as well, there's sort of two paths that we offer to customers. They can have a 3-year contract with a lower monthly install fee, which is currently $195 towards installation. And if they're on the 3-year contract, it's $30 per month more expensive than if they pay $900 up front and get a lower monthly fee. So the John Asselford project was a $1,500 install and $120 per month, because it is a small project that we weren't able to connect to another POP. So we have to pay Rogers for a wavelength service from the data center at 436 Hazeldine out to Marchurst Road. And just the cost of that is significant. So the benefit of working over and off of our existing Ashton network is that this isn't a new operating cost for us. So we already have a feed in the area, so we're able to offer service without having to a large cost adder for the project. It's just connected to our existing fiber network, and so we can offer our standard monthly rates and fees.
Thank you. Karen, did you have your hand up? I don't. Okay. Yeah. Then I think we should move on now. We've got a very large agenda, Ben, but it's been very, very great to have you delegate to us. And certainly we'll be looking forward to this. I believe that council will be on board. And Councillor Straight made a point there, which is good, because it's not just what might happen this year, but what might happen next year or the year after. Because I just wanted to mention something. We had a delegation a couple of months ago from someone who may be looking at putting in a subdivision, fairly large subdivision, up in that area, just south of Pinery. And so we would obviously be, hoping that that area would be served also, because if Piney Road is not served well, this other road, Holbrook, is not served any better. So it would be certainly good to be looking forward to that too. But thank you for now, for tonight, and we'll look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Ben. I have a motion here. It was moved by Claus Vandermeer and seconded by Karen Jennings that council received the delegation from Community Fiber for information. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We're going to go back to you, Joanna. And the first report is going to be yours for the fall for Merrickville.
Okay, so at the last committee of the whole, we brought forward the suggestion or the request from a member of the community looking to have the Fall for Merrickville event. And they were asking council to deem the event as municipally significant in order to be able to receive a liquor license through the AGCO. So council said that we should bring it forward to committee said we need to bring it forward to the council meeting to get final approval for this. So just looking for your final approval that council deem the Fall for Merrickville to be municipally significant. Also in the recommendation, we will be adding the address that has been provided and the dates and times it's occurring. We need that for the AGCO. So looking for council's approval on that.
Thanks, Joanna. Thanks, Joanna. I have a motion here, was moved by Klaus Vandermeer and seconded by Jeff Carl, that council receive the following report for the Fall for Merrickville report, and that the following be approved: that council deem the Fall for Merrickville located at 620 Heritage Drive, occurring on October the 9th, 2021, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to be municipally significant. Any questions? All in favor? And opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, Joanna. The next report is also yours, Joanna. It's on the COVID-19 vaccination policy.
Okay, so we had a fairly brief discussion at the committee of the whole, as we hadn't had any sort of, hadn't been to any legal webinars or spoken to a lot of municipalities around who are still writing these policies. But we did have, I did attend a legal session, and they basically stated that it's important to acknowledge that we need to take every possible reasonable precaution to protect employees, and that's under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. But legal essentially said, no, we need to do that. We need to make this, a very important thing. We need to have a policy for it, but that it's not been tested in the courts. That we would open ourselves up for lawsuits, and we should be prepared to face legal challenges if we have a mandatory vaccine policy. They also said that we should be sort of as open as possible, provide as many accommodations as possible, although acknowledge that, the employer is taking the precautions necessary to protect staff, to protect staff from any health and safety concerns. So I have the policy attached. I don't know if there are any questions. It is significantly changed from the last version, which we took out of Toronto. This is actually almost a rewrite of the County of Lanark policy. So I'll just open the floor up to questions. It's probably easier to deal with things one at a time.
We have any questions on this? Yes, Karen.
Joanna, just a question with reference to the health records. You're not actually keeping copies of health information except for when an exemption is requested?
So my understanding is, when I originally looked at this, my understanding had been that we were not to keep any health records at all. And then at the legal thing we went to, they said, you can keep them, but it has to be essentially under lock and key. One person should be responsible for them. They need to be kept under lock and key and only released for very specific purposes, like provincial monitoring, I believe. Like we don't issue the personal information, just the stats.
Yes, yes, Karen.
Just because the legal I had attended said don't keep them. That's why I'm a little confused. So
and that was also my original understanding, was that we were not allowed to keep any records at all.
Mhm.
That's how I had interpreted what I had what I had read and seen. And then this said, yes, you can collect it, but you basically, one person should have it available to them. I'm certainly open to change that because my understanding of medical records is any medical record is we shouldn't be keeping them.
Anything else on this? Jeff?
I mean, I don't have a big problem with the policy. I think this is really the direction we need to go. I don't know if it's a medical record though, because it's the vaccine sort of certificate per se. And those are, I mean, there's other vaccine. That's, I think the reason why is because there's other vaccines that you have to that you have to supply for a lot of different employments. That's kept on file. So it's not a medical file, but it's more just stating that you have gotten that vaccine so you can work in those, like TB as an example, a lot of places. So I mean, it's just it's showing the proof that you've done that, and we can definitely. And I don't know why our employee files wouldn't be locked up under lock and key anyways.
Well, they are, but
So, I mean, that's kind of a standard practice. So I don't know why that would be in effect. And really, we're in an area of 90% vaccinated, and I mean, we really want to make sure that it's all there. So I'm all for making sure we're continuing for it. That's the way that we're going to get to be open. So I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't, it's not something we want to put our foot down on, but it's for that last 10%, unfortunately.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. I don't have any other questions then, Joanna. So I do have a motion here, and it was moved by Jeff Carroll and seconded by Karen Jennings, that council receive the COVID-19 vaccination policy report, and that the following be approved: that council approve the COVID-19 vaccination policy as drafted by staff, and that staff circulate to employees, council, and committees of council for signature. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Just because we're talking about vaccination, I'll mention to you, if you haven't heard, but the word will get out pretty fast that as of this morning, our medical health officer, Dr. Paula Stewart, and the health unit was awarded a very, very prestigious award, one of 4 different areas in Eastern Ontario, for the work that they've done regarding COVID-19 and vaccination and so on. And we all know that Dr. Stewart was very excited when we did about 2 weeks ago hit the 90%. I'm not sure where we are now, but we're somewhere above 90%. But having been I still am the rep on the health unit. I sit with Dr. Paula Stewart, and we just look up to her, and she's done such an amazing job for all of us. And she certainly deserved the award that she received this morning, along with the health unit and all of the staff, because the staff has been amazing. And the number of times that they've had to be deployed to do different jobs, and everybody has done it happily. It's just admirable what they've done. So just congrats to Dr. Paula Stewart. And I did possibly see your hand up, Karen. No?
No, I just got water, sorry.
Okay. Thanks, Joanna. The next one also is, I guess the next one there is 3C, and that's going to be yours, Stephen. So welcome, Stephen, now that we see you on the screen.
Thank you, Reeve.
And so this one is going to be on the procurement policy. So thanks.
Thank you. So staff brought forward on September 21st, the procurement amendment changes. The highlighted changes are noted in the report. It's CAO with clerk, that's a replacement. CAO will be removed. Surplus items, the procurement methods with that have been altered. And then removing the requirement to have external advertisements for everything has been also removed. Everything is same as passed at committee of the whole. So just looking for approval from council.
Okay, yes, Karen?
I forgot to ask it the last time. So on this, how how does a business get on the pre-qualified list? Like for the professionals? It's noted under K.
Yes, so this would be something that we would go through the whole, we'd go through the whole method on seeing if we can keep it internal and see what the best method is. It would then be posted on our website for anybody external. Whoever submits would have to provide documentation that they are a certified body for that to receive it. If they wanted to submit it ahead, it wouldn't hurt. Obviously, we could definitely do that, but it would be something that they would reach out and provide all the documentation when they submit their request as per our website.
So
Yes.
it's a pre-qualified professional service provider. So if somebody is new to the area or whatever and is looking to get on our list, how would they go about that was my question.
That'd be through the clerk administrator.
Should we put something on our website though about this so that people are aware of a pre-qualified list?
The more on the website, the better, so we can absolutely look into that.
Thanks, Karen. Anything else? Okay, we do, sorry, Ian.
Yeah, so I guess just kind of to follow up with Councillor Jennings on that, Steve, if you don't mind, that rotational roster, so that kind of goes through the list of people that are on there, so that everybody has an equal opportunity. I guess that's the whole idea of that.
That's correct.
So how does that occur right now? So say you wanted to fix the plumbing somewhere. How does that occur at this present second? Like who determines who the contractor is that comes in and does the repairs?
The plumbing is as per the procurement.
Just as an example.
It's all base dollar value. If it's been budgeted, there's no changes to that procurement for anything of that sort. This more or less to surplus items. Basically right now we go, if there's up to 5,000, we have 3 verbals. Anything over 5,000 to 30,000 is 3 writtens, and that's a method that we put in place previously, and it's staying status quo with that procurement.
Okay, and you guys keep track of all those written quotes or whatever it might be at the end of the day?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all.
Thanks. Anything else? Okay, we do have a motion about this, and this has been moved by Karen Jennings and seconded by Ian Straight. The council receive the procurement policy report and that the following be approved. The council approved the recommended changes to the procurement policy, and that council directs staff to amend bylaw 3404-2014 with the approved changes as part of bylaw 3863-2021. All in favor? Okay, that's carried. Thank you, Stephen, for that one. Next one is going to be 3D. That is also yours, Stephen, on the electronic waste.
Thank you, Reeve. This was also moved forward to committee on the 21st. We were approached by EPRA, who would like us to be a depot for electronics. It'd be a mini bin system located in our vestibule at the main office. They pay us $80 a ton. We'd accept any small electronics for this. There's no regulations that affect the township by doing this. And it's just more or less moving it forward for our residents to have an additional depot to get rid of electronics for recycling.
Yep, great idea, I think. Anything? Okay, then we have a motion about this. Ian, moved by Ian Straight, second by Klaus Vandermeer, that council received the following report. That's the electronics waste report. And that the following be approved. The council directs staff to proceed with becoming a local small electronic waste depot for Montague residents on behalf of EPRA. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Yours is the next one also, Stephen. That's on McPherson Road speed. Yes, McPherson Road speed. Thanks.
Thank you, Reeve. So as stated on the 21st to Committee of the Whole, there was a delegation completed on the 7th to reduce the speed limit to 6 kilometers an hour along McPherson Road. Staff has detailed in the report the changes that would be coming from this. The average speed on that section of roadway is 63 kilometers an hour currently. It's an unposted zone, so it's 80 kilometers right now. 60 kilometers seems like a pretty fitting speed limit reduction for there, as that's the current traveled speed. And these changes would be effective as soon as we can get signage in place. There's a breakdown of the costing. It's roughly in the $630 depending on posts and that. It's very close to that costing, and this will be from Highway 15 to Rosedale Road North. Staff did not feel the gravel section was required to have a speed reduction, as the results don't show that if we're driving 63 on a asphalt road, it's for 2 houses on that section, the additional cost is not outweigh the reward. That is the report.
Thank you. Seeing no questions, I have a motion moved by Claus Vandermeer, second by Jeff Carroll, that council receive the McPherson Road speed report and that the following be approved, that council direct staff to amend bylaw 3666, 2018 to reduce the speed limit on McPherson Road to 60 kilometers an hour on the next council agenda. All in favor? Opposed? Sorry, Claus, I didn't.
No.
Yep.
Sorry, I
So
was
that's
reading.
carried. Thank you. And thank you for that one, Stephen. The next is, so yeah, that's all of those reports. We're going to move on to the reports of the committees. And I have a motion that was already moved by Jeff Carroll and second by Karen Jennings, that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting, September the 21st, 2021, be approved as circulated. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Do we have any business arising from any of those minutes? Seeing none, we're moving on to the next one, and that's going to be the Montague Recreation Culture Committee special meeting. And I do have a motion. It was moved by Karen Jennings, second by Ian Straight. The minutes of the Montague Recreation Culture Committee special meetings of September the 13th, 2021 be approved as circulated. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on, we have some bylaws. And I will read the first one. Yes, Jeff?
Jeff had a question.
Just about the Recreation and Culture Committee meeting.
Mhm.
If council will indulge me for a second, because it wasn't entirely on this meeting, but it came up in the last one. And if council's okay with it, we could talk about it real quick about the Santa Claus parade that came up. And I think the Recreation Committee just came in late on the on getting that into our council meeting. But if council's okay to quickly talk about it, maybe they're game for doing it again this year. And if we can basically give them the okay, so also we can also talk with the fire department to see if they can also be a part of that too as well. But before I go further, if Reeve Dobson, do we need sort of a consensus to quickly bring that up?
So, thank you, Jeff. This obviously is very, very timely. So I think what I'll do is I'll go around the table and just get consensus, and then we can deal with it. So go to Claus
Yes.
and Karen
Yes.
and Ian and myself is a yes, and I know yours is a yes, Jeff. So the screen is yours. Thanks.
Thank you. So really just I'm looking to give approval to the rec committee, obviously, to go ahead with the Santa Claus parade and get in contact with the fire department so we can have our flashing lights too as well, part of it, and they can kind of start the planning. So if I move that.
So do you, I think, can we just make a motion about this, Joanna? On the spot, or can we just get consensus?
If you can get consensus, Christie's gonna take down that we have consensus to do
Okay,
that.
I'm just gonna go around and get consensus on this, Jeff, thanks.
Perfect, thank you.
So again, Claus
Yes.
and Karen,
Yes.
Ian,
Yes.
myself, yes, and Jeff.
Yes.
So thank you for bringing that up. And I heard it was supposed to be, going to be a long, dry fall going into the winter. I hope there's going to be enough of the white stuff to help them there. So, you know, we'll have to think about that. We'll have to get the recreation committee thinking about that.
You got a snow.
Do you have a date in mind, Jeff?
Not to throw Christie on the bus, under the bus here, but was that did we talk about the dates about the Santa Claus parade, or when did we do it last year?
We did it last year, December 12th. So I would assume we would be looking more at December 11th for it. I know that's when,
Yeah.
I know that's the instructions I had received from Jasmine for it. So I would say it would be around then, but we haven't discussed that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, Ian?
And one of the things we were waiting on was the hall availability as well, right? If we wanted to do something at the after it was over or something. So
Mm-hmm. Well, I think thanks for bringing this up to us, Jeff. So you've got consensus, and I'm sure that at the next meeting you'll be talking about it.
Thank you.
And we all know it was a huge, huge success last year, and everybody had fun, and Santa didn't fall off the sleigh, and everything was fine.
You want the trailer again, Jeff?
I would imagine so. I think we'll, as the discussions go, we'll. But it'd be great if we could obviously have the trailer. I mean, it worked really well last year. So.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so we're going to move on. We have some bylaws, and the
Sorry.
first, yes, Christy, sorry.
Can I just get what council had consensus to, like you guys are consenting to, basically?
Santa Claus
Jeff,
parade.
you want?
Just that is it that the Montague Recreation Committee has approval to move forward with like
Planning the Santa Claus parade.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
just making sure.
Thanks. Okay, so the first bylaw was moved by Ian Straight and second by Claus Vandermeer. The bylaw 3862 2021 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 3666 2018, a bylaw to regulate traffic and parking on highways, private property and municipal property within the township of Montague. We read a first, second, and third time and passed, signed, and sealed this 5th day of October 2021. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. The next bylaw was moved by Claus Vandermeer and seconded by Jeff Carroll. That bylaw 3863 2021, a bylaw to amend bylaw 3404 2014, a bylaw to establish a policy for the procurement of goods and services for the township of Montague. We read it first, second, and third time and passed, signed, and sealed this 5th day of October 2021. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Next bylaw was moved by Jeff Carroll and seconded by Karen Jennings, that bylaw 3864 2021, a bylaw to adopt a COVID-19 vaccination policy, be read a first, second, and third time and passed, signed, and sealed this 5th day of October 2021. All in favor? It's carried. And thank you. We have another motion moved by Karen Jennings, seconded by Ian Straight, that council receive the council assigned tasks item as information. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. And I have a motion here moved by Ian Straight, second by Klaus Vandermeer, that council receive the township contracts item as information. Does anyone need to speak to that? Seeing none, then I will ask, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And before we recess our council meeting, I'm going to go to you, Christy and Joanna, to let us know if we have any questions from the public.
I have received no questions here on my end.
I have nothing here.
Okay, thanks. So we have a motion moved by Klaus Vandermeer and second by Jeff Carroll that council recess at 6:52. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. So we'll take about 2 minutes between now and we'll come back for our committee meeting, just to change everything over. So a couple of minutes. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Christy, do we know if those dates were free at the end of November that we discussed before? Or,
So that's when I got kicked out of the meeting. I don't have those dates and they haven't done the minutes for the meeting.
that makes sense. Okay.
I was gonna email you back, but if you
Well,
remember I'll have to go back and listen.
Yeah, and I emailed it late in the day, so it's all good. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
We're live again, Christy?
Yes.
Hey, thanks, everyone. We're going to begin our committee of the whole meeting, which is also live streamed, October the 5th. And we're going to open the meeting and also to remind all of council that if you have any disclosure of interest, you can declare it now or anytime during the meeting. And yes, Claus?
Yes, sorry, declare conflict of interest on items 3C and D.
Okay, thank you. We have no delegations tonight. And the first motion that I have here is moved by Ian Straight and seconded by Claus Vandermeer that the committee of the whole agenda dated October the 5th, 2021 be approved. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And moving on, we have no delegations, as I said. The first report of our municipal officers is going to be yours, Andrew. And yes, you're with us, Andrew. If you can come onto the screen there. Welcome, Andrew. It's good to have you. And the first
Good evening.
one report is yours. That's going to be on the Lanark County Tourism Initiative. Thanks, Andrew. I'll pass it on
Thank
to you.
All right, so this report this evening is a report for action, and it's in regards to the Lanark County Tourism Initiative. And this is actually a report from myself and the Public Works Manager. So for this report, the recommendation is that council directs staff to use the $5,000 tourism initiative funds from Lanark County to do upgrades to the Rainbow Valley Drive canoe launch. And so as a background, Lanark County notified the township by email a little while ago that each township in the county has available $5,000 in 2021 towards a tourism initiative of their choice. So from there, staff has looked at that and investigated, and we took a look at the canoe launch on Rainbow Valley Drive and determined that upgrades can be made to improve the use of the ramp for recreational paddling. So from this point on, we have a form that we can submit to the county, and they will send those funds to Montague Township to proceed with that. And the idea would be to do improvements of paddling access to enhance recreational activities available in the township. And the manager of public works, he's looked into the physical details, the layouts, and those aspects of the ramp, and investigated that and the permissions for that. And he can update us on that at this point.
Thanks, Andrew. So over to you, Stephen, please.
Thank you, Reeve. So yeah, we've looked into all the options for this. We reached out to Drummond and Tay Valley. They've also completed similar projects. What we'd be considering is a 1.8 meter pathway similar to the sidewalk. And this would just be granular material, skiff, and we'd place some boulders there. We reached out to legal to confirm the access to the water is in fact township property, and we received that it is in fact township property. So this would just be placing a bit of granular down on the pathway. Our public works could complete this to keep costs low. The amount of for Rideau Valley, they said it'd be about $100 for the permit, and they just need a stamp drawing of what we'd be completing. And other than that, the large purchase in there would just be obtaining a small dock for entering the waterway.
Well, first of all, thanks to both you, Stephen and Andrew, for your creative idea here, because I think it's fantastic. But I'm going to, before I read my motion, I'll go and ask if there's any questions from council. Jeff?
I guess I think I have a couple. One part is this initiative from Lanark County, is that from the regular Lanark County's tax roll, or did they get a grant that helped to support that? Do you guys know?
Generally speaking, Jeff, the county puts a certain amount of money out for economic development and tourism. And prior to you being on council, it was actually about three or four councils ago, they used to have an initiative where they gave each community a certain amount of money, and we were able to do different things. That's when we put up all the signs in Montague Township. We used some of that money to do the digital sign. We had a tour for tourism, like a tour of Montague Township. We did different things. And at the time, they called it the Local Initiative Fund. It may have a different name, but basically it's the same thing. So it's just money that we spend on tourism for each community, and each community gets exactly the same amount.
Okay, so I guess you kind of answered my question. So it is from like there's not a grant side of it that comes down to help pay for that. It's from that side of it. My other question, real quick, and I don't know if you can answer this or not, but you said there's $100 so we're doing this in Lanark County by the townships and the county, but yet we still are paying a permit fee to RVCA. Did I hear that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
I
guess it would be sort of more or less similar to where we have fees that we charge people. They have a fee of that much to do whatever they have to do to receive this and look into it, I guess. So according to what I guess Stephen and Andrews says, yes, it's about $100, I think, isn't it, Andrew? Is it about $100?
That's right. Yeah, I think it was like either 1 or 150. It's a kind of just a permit fee that allows us to proceed.
So the answer is yes.
Go in the water. Okay, that's the. I am curious, and I'll go offline for that one. I'm curious about paying it in our own township done by a township initiative and a county initiative. On that note, though, I'm not trying to be coming across there. I think this is fantastic. I just want to make sure that obviously the back end is done right. I think this is a great initiative, and I think it's a great idea for the township. I just wanted to key up on those couple points there. Thank you. This is great.
Great, thanks. Anything else, Claude?
Thanks, Reeve. Great initiative, guys. Thanks very much for bringing it forward. I guess I better get a canoe out and go down there sometime. Anyway, Steve, you had mentioned that you're putting up some boulders. I presume that's to prevent cars from going down right to the water.
That would be correct. You'd be surprised what some people try and do when there's an access to a waterway. So it would just be more or less a preventative measure to ensure that nobody's using it for the wrong purposes.
Yeah. I think I'd mentioned to you one time before, Stephen, the reason that there is a right of way for the township to get to the water, and one of the reasons is so the fire truck, if necessary, need to go down there and pump water. Will they still be able to get close enough to the water with these boulders that you're planning on putting in there?
That's correct. We would be placing this out of the way that it's not going to obstruct anything. Currently, for the fire trucks to get down there, it would be portable pumps at this point. It would not be a fire truck. So it's not going to obstruct any fire apparatus.
Okay. Just one more question, Ray. Have you notified the neighboring properties there that this is a plan of the townships?
This is in the very preliminary steps bringing forward to council. Definitely something we will move forward with is notifying the residents around when a decision is made by council.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem. I don't think it'll be a problem with the residents. It's just so they know that there could be a few extra cars parked there alongside the road, and they'll be wondering, why are these people here? What's going on? So just a courtesy thing. But other than that, no, I think it's a great initiative. Thanks.
And so just to follow up on that, Steve, will you be putting up signs where people should or should not park? Because I know that when we used to deal with problems for people parked all over the place at Boat Launch Road, and I believe that there were signs put up there, and we made a little wider shoulder for the cars to get off. But will you be putting up the signs for parking? Or
And
is
it's
it
something
obvious?
the existing area up there is pretty wide. It can accommodate quite a few vehicles. I mean, if we were to get if this was a huge hit, it'd be could be something that we'd have to explore, kind of widening the cul-de-sac right now. But there is adequate spacing for a few vehicles to park on the side, and it'd be seasonal, so we'd have signage indicating that as well.
The other question I have is, will we be putting any signs up on the highways nearby to direct people there, or do we not put any signs up? I'm just not sure what we do at the boat launch road if we have signs on the Reeder River Road directing people to the boat launch road, to the dock there, or to the landing. But will we be putting any signs up on 43 Highway?
For the cost of it, we definitely could explore that option as long as there's room left in this funding. The biggest thing there is to make sure that we are following the county's very strict sign bylaw they have. So staff will look into that and make sure we adhere to that.
Great. So, yes, Karen, and then Andrew.
My question is, what other ideas did staff have other than the canoe, just out of curiosity, for tourism?
I think that was quickly our front running idea. I think there was an email put out to all staff to put forward ideas, and this one, I guess, it made us think of economic development, and it made us just think of bringing more visitors to Montague. So we focused on it up to this point, and think it would tie in with trails and things during the township. So. And just my other note was going to be that regardless of if we put signs on the county road, I foresaw this being promoted on our township website and in our communications, our newsletters and e-blasts, so that we draw people to it. So when we look to our strategic plan and look to economic development, we thought it was a good fit.
Well, we know that probably the biggest asset that we have here is the Reeder River. So, it's nice to be able to utilize it more. Anything else from you, Karen, there on that?
No.
And Andrew, that's all for you? You had your hand up also.
Yes, that's everything.
Maybe you've already touched on it.
Okay. Just basically that we plan to use digital media to promote that it's there and tie it in with other things in the township that people can do to visit the township and use things here to draw visitors.
Yes, and I can't remember the particulars of this, but we did have discussions at the county, obviously, but I can't remember if we had put a timeline on it, if it had to be spent by the end of 2021. That may have been one of the criterias. I don't know.
22.
It did list that there would be a report back to the county in December to summarize what all the different townships were doing with this initiative. So, I think they foresee it being done.
Yeah, this is for 2021, I believe, wasn't it, Claus? This is just 2021. It had to be done by the end of the year, I believe.
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay, thanks, Scott. That's great. Then I have a motion moved by Claus Vandermeer, second by Jeff Carroll, that the Committee of the Whole receive the following report, the Lanark County Tourism Initiative, and that the following be recommended to Council. That Council directs staff to use the $5,000 Tourism Initiative funds available from Lanark County to perform upgrades to the Rainbow Valley Drive canoe launch. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Next, we're going to go to I guess that the next one is B, and that's yours also. I guess this one is yours, Joanna, I believe. On the October 5th Communications Tower on Bennett Road.
We received communication with Rogers representatives who were noting that they were planning on installing a communications tower located at 252 Bennett Road. We've been through these types of applications now several times, but just for reference, it's again one of those where councils provide support. It's federally regulated, so they don't require planning applications or building applications. Notice was sent out to the public by Rogers to a distance of 274.5 meters. The proposal includes a 91.5 meter guide communication tower and walking equipment cabinet in an enclosed compound. So Rogers requires a resolution from the municipality in support of the application. So the recommendation is that, sorry, I guess this recommendation is a little bit off, but it should say that the committee supports the application and bring forward to council for approval.
Okay, thanks. Any questions from council? Okay, I do have a motion here that was moved by Jeff Carroll and seconded by Karen Jennings, that committee of the whole receive the following report. That's the proposed Rogers Wireless Communications site, Bennett Road, William Campbell Road, and that the following be recommended to council. That council supports the application of the communication tower proposed by Rogers at 252 Bennett Road in order to improve and increase coverage for reliable wireless voice and data services. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you, Joanna, for that one. And next, we're going to go to 3C, and that's on the cleaning
One
RFQ.
moment. Sorry, Ray.
Yep.
Give me a minute to.
Mhm.
Okay. This is about the custodian services contract. So back in 2017, we did sign a custodian services contract. That agreement expired April 30th, 2021. We issued prior to that an RFQ with no successful results. And at the meeting that happened April 20th, the recommendation was that council direct staff to review the potential and options with respect to hiring a part-time cleaning or custodial staff member. So at the last meeting, we brought a report to council after it had been through committee, which proposed the hiring of a part-time cleaner. The recommendation was at council defeated, and a new resolution was proposed that council direct staff to put out an RFQ for the daily cleaning at the municipal buildings located at 6547 Roger Stevens Drive, with a monthly cleaning at Rosedale Hall and cleaning at Rosedale Hall as per the event. So what is attached in your agenda is an amended version of the earlier RFQ that went out in March. So I'm open to questions or comments on that.
Thanks, Joanna. Any questions? Yes, Karen.
On the garbage, it says empty garbage and recycling daily, but you're not taking it to the dumpster until weekly. Where is it being stored in the interim?
That is a fair point, and I can amend that so it makes a little bit more sense that way.
Yes, Karen.
I'd also add under the kitchen, cleaning the interior and exterior of your microwave should be daily as well, not just on weekly, because you're doing your sinks and countertops from things that are being touched.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Seeing none, I have a motion moved by Karen Jennings, second by Ian Straight, that the committee of the whole receive the following report. That's the cleaning RFQ, and that the following be recommended to council, that the RFQ be reviewed and approval as drafted and be brought forward to the next council meeting for final approval. All in favor? And that's opposed. Anyone? That's carried. Thank you. And we're going on to the next one, D. That's also yours, Joanna. That's on the cleaning contract for Rosedale Hall.
Right, so this report kind of just builds on what we've just been through about the expired contract, doing an RFQ, not having appropriate results, and then deciding to put out another RFQ. In the interim, council made a resolution which noted that this was September 21st, that council directs staff to hire an interim cleaner under the emergency provisions of the procurement policy until such time as a permanent solution can be determined. So what I had attached is the proposed interim contract, which is an amended version of the expired contract that was signed in 2017. We're proposing getting this signed as soon as feasibly possible to ensure that all cleaning is completed.
Thanks, Karen.
Clarification, Joanna, because the Rosedale Hall never did have a contract issued after the 2017. The contract was approved for the municipal building, fire hall, and garage, but there never was a contract issued to anyone for Rosedale Hall. It was just.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
As far as I understand, it was sort of the Rosedale Hall
Was an agreement?
was just, you know, on an as needed call-in basis.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Anything else on this? Yes, Ian?
Thanks, Reeve. Joanna, the follow-up to ensure that everything's done properly, who's taking care of that?
I have been going as required to just sort of double check and make sure everything's happening.
Okay, so somebody's walking through and checking on the list to make sure that everything's completed the way it should be before anybody gets paid.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I have a motion. It was moved by Ian Straight, second by Karen Jennings, that the committee of the whole receive the following report: the cleaning contract for Rosedale Hall, and that the following be recommended to council: that the agreement for the interim custodial services contract be brought forward to council for approval. All in favor? And opposed? That's carried. Thank you. And the next one are the reports of the committees. We have none. We have no petitions, no motions, and notice of motion, except for the A there. And that motion was moved by Claus. Oh, sorry, we better get Claus back first, I guess, seeing that he's moving this one. Hope he didn't go paddling.
He's coming back.
Okay,
Thanks,
Hello.
Claus. This motion was moved by Claus Vandermeer, seconded by Jeff Carroll, that the committee of the whole received the notice of motion by myself, that staff provide copies of the procedural bylaw, code of conduct, and any relevant policies to members of all committees, which must be read and signed off on. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. There's no unfinished business and other business. And before we adjourn, can we ask the public if they have any questions, please, Christy and Joanna?
I have no questions here on my end.
Okay, thanks.
No, we're okay at this end as well.
Okay, thanks. We have a motion moved by Jeff Carroll, seconded by Ian Straight, that the committee of the whole meeting do now adjourn to 7:21. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. So I think we'll just go straight into our next meeting. We'll reconvene our council meeting. That's okay with everybody there. We'll just shuffle our papers
Yep.
along.
No problem.
And we do have a motion that was moved by Ian Straight, second by Claus Vandermeer, that council reconvene at 7:22. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. This motion was moved by Claus Vandermeer, seconded by Jeff Carroll, that this council moves into closed session as per S 239 -2 of the Municipal Act, S 0/2001, in order to address 5 items: security of the property of the municipality or local board, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, labor relations or employee negotiations, and finally, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. More specifically, security of the property of the municipality, personal matters about an identifiable individual, a proposed acquisition of land by the municipality, employee negotiations, and potential litigation. In-camera attendance will be all the members of council, including our acting clerk administrator, Joanna Bowes, and our treasurer, Andrew Hodge. All in favor?